Good afternoon, Tsupiteros, and welcome to another edition of Pillow Talks. Again, I'd like to start off by analyzing the index first. As you can see here in the chart of the PSEI index, we're still consolidating in that range. It's been, just a very frustrating market for the last couple of weeks, as we've just been going up and down within a 200-point range. But let me show you the Bollinger Bands overlaid in the chart of the PSEI index. As you can see, the Bollinger Bands are now very, very tight. And this would indicate that the market should be poised to trend anytime soon. Okay? If you look at the index right now, we are in that part of the trend wherein prices are about to break out, just like what happened in May. All right, so of course, the Bollinger Bands doesn't really tell you that prices are going to trend down or trend up, but it simply tells you that it's about to change its trend from consolidations to a trending phase market. And given that we are in the fourth quarter already, given that we are nearing the traditionally bullish December to January period, then my bets are still that this market will eventually break out and trend up in the short term. Okay, so get ready for that. The key levels to break is the 6,000 level, of course, and this high here at 6,167 would confirm the breakout. Okay, so if we break 6,000 and then we do a convincing break above 6,167, that would confirm that the market has begun to trend. But otherwise, unless those two conditions occur, then we can just presume that the market is still in a range and it's still just consolidating. Okay, so before I continue with my video for today, I'd like to thank one of my sponsors, APS Online. If you'd like to trade with a broker with excellent research, do trade with APS Online. Okay, so the next topic that I want to discuss with you this afternoon is Converge. Converge last Friday just announced that they would do an IPO at 16 pesos and 80 cents no, which is roughly near the lower end of its given price range. If you remember, initially they wanted to do the IPO at 24 pesos per share, and then I think it was a week ago when they dropped the range from 24 to 19 to 16.50. So and then eventually last Friday they announced that the IPO will be priced at 16.80. Okay, so from 24 to 19 to 16.80. So that's actually not a very good sign. It means that there's no buyers at 24. There's certainly no buyers at 19, and the market is only willing to buy the IPO at 16.80 per share. So this indication alone is not could tell you whether the IPO is a good buy or not. Okay, so I have here a table of all the recent IPOs, and they're given maximum prices and the discount from those prices to the IPO price itself. Okay, so like for example, Medimart, they from the very beginning they told the market that they wanted to do an IPO at 1 peso per share, and they did the IPO at 1 peso per share, and which is at the high end of the range. So what happened to Medimart? It went berserk. After 1 month, it's already up by 150%. KPPI was also the same. You know, they put out a maximum range of 5 pesos and 74 cents per share, and they did an IPO at the very high of the range. And what happened to the stock? It went up. After 1 month, it was up 97%. After 3 months, it was up 116%. So let's look at the other end of the spectrum, wherein those IPOs price their IPOs at the lower end of their given ranges. No, like for example, here we have here DMW. The price range was initially, they gave an initial price of 22 pesos and 90 cents per share for the IPO. But instead, they did the IPO at 12 pesos per share, which is 47% discount from their initial targeted IPO price. So what happened to the stock? After 1 month, it dropped by 19%. After 3 months, it dropped by 30%. After a year, it was still down by almost 20%. It's the same for all these stocks, or for all these IPOs, wherein they gave a significant discount from their initial price range. They normally underperformed, no, after the listing day. So here we go again with Converge. They gave a maximum price of 24, and then they dropped it down to 19, and then eventually now they're pricing it at 16.80. So just by using this indicator, I wouldn't really put my bets on Converge anymore at this point. I think it's a very big issue. It's the biggest IPO in recent history. The biggest one recently was just Home at 14 billion proceeds. No, but this one is even almost double at 25 billion. The secondary, it doesn't really help that the IPO has 68% of the IPO is actually secondary shares. No, of course, the more secondary shares, the more it's like a turn off for investors. Ideally, you want to buy primary shares, no, not secondary shares. Because with secondary shares, you're actually buying from the previous owner of the stock. Okay, so that's me. This is my opinion of Converge. It's a very good company. I think it has very good potential in the future. It has obviously it has pretty good growth, but I'm not buying it at 16 pesos and 80 cents per share. I'd probably, if I wanted to get in Converge, I'd probably look for it to go down in the next couple of months before I start accumulating it. All right, for the medium or for the long term. So that's it. That's my take on Converge. Before I continue with my video, I'd like to thank another one of my sponsors, AAA Equities. So if you'd like to trade with a broker with automated stop orders and automated breakout orders, do trade with AAA Equities. Okay, the next topic that I want to discuss this afternoon is our shell companies that are owned by Taipan, specifically Altus, okay, or APVI. Okay, these are the shell companies that are owned by the taipans that are still listed in the market. Some of them have already plans for their businesses, such as Sun. Sun was previously majority owned by MegaWorld, and so now they are going into a casino in Quezon City. And then you have SGP. Davin just recently increased their authorized capital stock, and they changed their primary purpose. So they also changed their company name. So I presume that a backdoor is already in the works for Davin right now. Other stocks that other shell companies owned by the taipans that have yet to announce their business plans are, SGP, ABG, ACEX, CA, and Altus APVI. Okay, so among these companies, what you want to buy, of course, is the one with the lowest market cap. Okay, so Sun is obviously the most expensive right now in terms of market cap. Well, rightly so, because they already have a business. They already have announced plans, and it's now clear to the market what Sun is going to be in the future. Okay, SGP does not. SGP will become the also has a planned business already. This is the National Grid. Okay, so that is why it's also trading at almost 8 billion market cap already. Davin is trading at 5 billion market cap. The company has already announced that it has some plans on the company in the future. They will be changing their business model, their business name, their primary purpose. Okay, ABG, ACEX, CA, and APVI have very low market caps because they're basically shell companies at this point. But again, the lowest among them is Altus. Okay, so I guess the next question is why is the market selling Altus at near 1 billion market cap, despite it being very low already, despite it being owned 60% by JG Summit? Why is the market selling it at 1 billion market cap? Well, the reason is because the foreign funds are dumping it. Okay, and why are the foreign funds dumping it? Again, if you remember, Altus simply came as a dividend from RLC. So, in the eyes of the foreign funds, it's just dividends for them. It's just bonus income for them. And given that Altus doesn't really have much business, or only has a minuscule amount of business, they'd rather just sell the stock and just concentrate on Robinson's Land instead. Most of these foreign funds that have RLC are probably index funds, and because APVI is not an index fund, they are just forced to sell it because they don't want it in their portfolio. Okay, so if you look at this table here, what I did was I've been indicating here in this table here all the foreign selling of the stock since June 30. Okay, last June 30, foreign funds held 13.8 billion shares of Altus. Okay, and as of last Friday, they've now sold 15 billion shares. Sorry, this is 15 million shares. Okay, so last June 30, they owned 13.8 million shares. Now, they've already sold 15 million shares. So, bakit sumobra, no? Well, I've only been recording the sales. If there are days when the foreign funds buy, okay, I don't actually record them. But the buying of the foreign funds here are very minuscule. I think it would be very lucky if there would be a day then when the foreign funds bought 100,000 shares. Most of the buying here is very minuscule. So I guess those that bought in the last couple of weeks in Altus also sold their shares eventually. So from the way I see it, I believe the foreign funds in Altus have almost already sold all their shares. If not, they have already sold all of it as of last Friday. So the reason for why Altus has been going down in the last couple of months is no longer there if the foreign funds have already sold all their shares in Altus. So watch out for Altus. I think it's time to buy the stock. If you look at this table again here, ABG is 2 billion market cap, ACEX is 1.5, CA is 1.4 billion market cap. So, never mind targeting 5 to 8 billion market cap. Let's just target 1.4 to 2.2 billion market cap. So, at 1.4, that Altus would be at 14 pesos per share. At 2.2 billion market cap, Altus would be at 22 pesos per share. Okay, so that's it for today's Pillow Talks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from me. See you again next week. Bye.